mind, body, and soul. The information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted.
Welcome to the fan episode. This is the episode where we find out what the fans think. And what we do is we get the comments during the time of the book cycle, but not necessarily about the book we're reading. All right.
Can I start just quickly? Do you mind?
Yes.
So
No,
I
not at all.
contacted one of the people. So the reason that I picked this book was because I was living in Newfoundland, and as you guys all know, and I had asked my roommates that we were living with for ideas. I was kind of spitballing, and they are theater people. It's made into a musical. They loved the book. So I wrote to him and said, can you tell me why you suggest this book? Like especially because I think a lot of you didn't like it. So I think it's interesting to see what his perspective is and why he suggested this book. And he says, it's very quick, but I think why I love Fun Home so much is that it is so emotionally complex without ever feeling weighty. And I thought doing a graphic novel might be something fun and different for a book club. So It's just an interesting reason of why he thought that this would be a great book for us to pick, even if everyone wasn't so enthralled with it.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I did like
liked it.
Yeah.
Mary liked it. So Mary and I liked it, but I agree with that though, that it is emotional without feeling weighty, which I think's super interesting. An interesting addition to the thinking about the book. But
Yeah, it wasn't
it.
like in your face, but you could see the progress of the I would say lead character. I guess it's a memoir, but the author then. So
you didn't like the book, right? Kim?
I didn't enjoy it. I wouldn't say that I have a passionate negative emotion toward it. It didn't move me. It didn't really interest me. And it kind of, I don't want to say offended me, but it had like the effect on me that like pushed me away. And it was just like the verbiage, like all of the language, I think that there's a specific audience that would really like it, but like the words being like, so I don't know if complex is the right word, because obviously ironically I'm complaining about, like, you know what I mean, how hard the words were, and I can't even come up with easy words to describe my complaint. But I think there's a specific audience, because also the other thing that kind of pushed me away, but I think would draw other people, is the like millions of literary references, and like the story almost requires that you're like very well read, but like specifically well read as her father, and the specific things that her father loved to read. Yeah. And so she'd be like, she'd make some statement about like, I haven't read any of the books, right? But she would be like, his efforts were Herculean, just like the efforts of John Fitzgerald in his biography about and it's like, gone. I'm gone. You lost me. I don't know anything you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'll just keep on reading, I guess. But so perhaps some of the like positive impact is lost on someone who doesn't have this like foundational knowledge in the like language department and the literary. So it's just a book, and it's almost like you're on the outside of an inside joke. Right. So yeah. And I agree with the person that you asked, or like that he picked it because of the graphic novel. I think that's a great idea. Like mix it up. Like it's a book club. We should be reading all kinds of books, et cetera, et cetera. Like I love that as a reason. And, but that emotional weightiness, like I think I'm just too self-identified with my on the outside looking in experience, that like I don't care about that person's emotions, because I'm trapped in my own, because I'm left out of this book and all of its content. So
yeah that's like traumatic for you, because you're like the only child who is like always felt like you're being left out when when your friends went home for dinner. You're like, what are they doing, playing and having fun all night long? And the answer is no, they're just eating dinner and going to bed like you, but you don't know. Right? So like that, like looking in is like totally a trigger for you too.
Totally.
Like, you're gonna leave me out of this book? Goodbye, book.
How dare you use language that's above my reading levels?
Right? And like I found the language, so there's a lot of words in there that I did not I was like, I don't know what that means. Skip, but I just like skip over it. I was like, I get the gist. I get the gist. But also the
I can
books
get the gist too from context, right?
But
Like
the
the
books
context
too.
helps or whatever. But at some points too, it's like, really, did you have to use that word? You couldn't just say nice or friendly or annoying. You had to be like humectant or like dyslexia, and it's like, what?
But also the literary references, like I hadn't read a lot of those books, so I was like, I also think like some of them that played prominently in the book, it'd be interesting if one day I read them to read the book again, right? Like kind of see, or just flip through it and be like, I get that now.
Yeah, like I feel like there is a deep sea of understanding that is inaccessible to people who have not or is not familiar with the works that she cites. But I think that if you were familiar, your understanding of that book or your ability to digest that book, I think is infinitely deeper than to someone who has no knowledge of those things. And it's very surface then, right? Because all of those literary references must enhance the story because she's using them like metaphors and similes, right? So it's like, oh, it's as good as, and for me, it's like, it's as good as blank. And I'm like, I wish I knew what blank was, because how good is it? Like, let me understand, but I haven't read the book.
Where does it land on the goodness scale? Please.
Yeah, totally.
It is interesting though, because like a graphic novel seems like a more simple way to like read a story, but she's keeping it complicated by using the other author's works to like get her point across. That is interesting. Here's the interesting idea. You like have a little companion book that is just like a quick Cole's notes as means this for each of the books. You're like, what does this mean? Oh, okay. That's what that book's about. Right? And you're like, it's a companion book to go with the graphic novel. That'd be kind of fun.
That's an amazing suggestion for this specific book, right? Like a little Cole's note understanding of every single thing she references. But that book wouldn't be little. It would be as fat as a dictionary.
Well,
yeah.
With the amount of references that she made.
That's true. It's like 70
But she made a lot of the same references, like to the same books. Like it wasn't a lot of different. Right. I mean, there was a lot, but like I think there was a lot of if you knew certain ones.
Yeah. There's a couple that were very important.
Right.
Yeah, but I liked all the words, but I didn't know a lot of them, and I didn't know a lot of literary references. You're
a Word Wednesday kind of girl.
I know, I am, but like, I didn't know a lot of them. But I just thought I thought it was beautiful. Like I thought it was very poetic, the way that it was written.
Yeah, finding the right word has a certain something.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel like it could be a reflection of like the reader, and in this case, my own insecurities, right? Oh, another word I don't know, right? Like if I don't care that I don't know words, then I might not have any kind of reaction to the fact that these are unfamiliar words to me. I'll just look them up and move on and whatever. Oh, it's a great opportunity to learn. Or like you described, like this is beautiful. This is poetic. Mm-hmm. So I'm not ignorant to the fact that my lack of enjoyment based on my lack of understanding is a me problem. It's not really, it's not the writer's problem. You know what I mean?
Book interrupted.
Well, giggles are my interruption. This non-stop random acts of giggling. What am I giggling about, you ask? It's the fact that I'm noticing that we have this bizarre ritual in our society of if you want to go away on vacation, you become a mad person trying to prep to go away. And it just occurred to me, although I've had many trips around the sun and have done, vacationing in the past, I've only just started to notice how truly cuckoo it is. I'm like, wow, this is a lot of work to go away. And it's just nonstop, folks. And so I'm just laughing at myself because I'm fully exhausted now and ready to collapse into vacation. And yet it's not happening today. So here's to making it through the rest of the day when my giggles start turning to crying fits. Yay!
Book interrupted.
I'll start with Facebook. So on Facebook, Mary, you wrote that Down the Rabbit Hole blog called Change is Good. And it was like about menopause and being a crone and that kind of thing. And someone wrote, great blog. Hey, you're welcome to ask me about menopause anytime. 15 years in, and I don't have any complaints.
That's
So
good.
great.
Start the conversation about menopause. It's something we should talk
Yeah.
about more. That was like in
Yeah.
reference to me saying, like, sometimes you can ask other people, tell me about menopause. And they're like, I don't really remember it. And you're like, that doesn't help me at all. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but if everybody talked about it all the time, you know, like the stories that you talk about all the time, like every family or every person has their like little legends of some great story that maybe you tell over and over, or maybe that's just our family telling stories over and over. But if people talked about menopause all the time, then you'd have those funny menopause stories that would, everybody had their little sack of legends, you know, that they would like pull out and tell somebody this story. And that would be something that would just, everybody would know about.
Sorry, I learned from Leah. I didn't know this because I get the chin hairs. Leah's like, I was like, I plucked them, and then they come back. Like, I'm just like, I just plucked. And she was like, it's because they grow overnight.
Do they really though? That's surprising.
That's what she said. And
Amazing.
I can imagine that because I actually waxed. I haven't waxed in like 6 months. I actually waxed my eyebrows, and I was like, oh, I should just wax my chin too because they always pop up.
Lucy thick and Nan.
And I have one right here. I just feel it right now.
It makes you think of us waxing Nan in the kitchen, and her, because she was blonde, she'd be like, ooh, because I'd be like, oh, is that too hot? Oh, my poor Nan.
No, we had to. She had so many. We could be like that. She could grow almost a beard almost.
Yeah, we're gonna be like that. It's just, you know, hopefully our children
Chin hairs.
or grandchildren will wax our beards when we're older if we want them to. Maybe we'll just rock it.
I'm not up for that.
Just buy an
challenge.
electrolysis machine.
Just for the one?
Oh, my Nan, it wasn't one. It was
Oh.
like,
She had like 100.
Oh.
Like,
it was like Santa
A
Claus.
lot.
I'm just joking. It wasn't like Santa Claus. It wasn't that bad.
no, but just like 100 sparse all around.
It creeps
her.
up on you. Creeps up on you.
She had a lot.
Stay tuned,
All right.
ladies. That's
I
gonna be
promise to tell you. If I notice a beard growing, I will tell you.
Let us
Good.
know.
Yeah.
We're getting them.
Wasn't that when someone, you're supposed to say if you have someone in your life that if you go in a coma, they're there to pluck your chin hairs?
Oh,
They should
I didn't
always
know
have a
that was
person.
measure.
No, I
Always
didn't
have
know
a person. Yeah. If
Put
you
that
go
in
into
your-
coma.
Put that in your living will.
Yeah. You must come in while I'm in the
Plucking my
coma
chin hairs.
and pluck the chin hairs.
I assign Lindsay.
Can you imagine waking up after whatever 6 months and being like, oh, I'm so groggy. And, oh my God, look at my beard. Why did nobody do anything?
I do like a photo shoot. We're like, look at this. This might be the last time this happens.
Oh. Our Karma Brown off the shelf. We obviously promoted that. And someone wrote, this is so cool. What a great experience and opportunity. They love that we had another author on. So
I
hopefully
really
we
like
can do more
Karma.
of those in the
She's
future.
so nice.
She was great. I just thought, you know, because Kirsten, like, it was so instantly super fun. But yeah, it was the same thing with Karma Brown. It was just like, I think because we're not so strict with our format that they can just go off on their own little, like her talking about her dots. Karma Brown talking about her dots. She just went on her little, which is nice because then they're just being themselves, not like the author.
Prepackaged answers or whatever.
So, you know.
Yeah, they're like
That's-
authentic, and it turns out likable. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, people, right? It's like, I think we might put a little like, oh, an author's coming on, like, oh my God, like almost like a celebrity, right? But then they come on and it's just another one of the girls or boys if we ever get a male author on. But you know what I mean? Like just another book interrupted member, like talking about a book or not, because we spend as much time talking about them as we spend talking about other things.
Maybe it's just that
That's
like
nice.
most people are nice. Or it's like, oh, they were so nice. It's like, maybe most people are nice. I think.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We were talking
Like,
about
what are we
ghosts.
expecting?
So.
Do you
Well,
know
we're
what I mean? Like,
talking
what kind
about
of doomsday
ghosts.
thinking are we incorporating? Like, wow, they were so nice. Like, what kind of terrible impression did we think they were going to come and do?
We were talking about ghosts at dinner, and we were talking about how, like, you know, if something's being haunted, my kids are like, well, the ghosts are probably nice. And I was like, oh yeah, most people are nice. So if something's being haunted, maybe most ghosts are nice ghosts.
But then they're stuck in like this realm that they maybe don't want to, or maybe they want to be there. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we don't really understand what makes somebody haunt.
The folklore of haunting is that they're somehow dissatisfied. And the reason they haunt is to get your attention to help somehow release them from their dissatisfaction, whatever it may be.
Maybe they just want to talk about a book, you know?
Maybe their
They were never part of
dissatisfaction is
it.
like, I don't have anyone to talk to here on this realm.
I was never part of a book club. Come on, ghosts.
We
You're welcome to
invite
come on.
at Book Interrupted. We invite all ghosts to come on and talk
Yeah.
about the book with us.
That's right.
Everyone's
good.
welcome. All right. I guess we should go, since we're being silly, we might as well go on. So our Facebook book club got a lot of action this book cycle. This one was really funny. Kim put this. Someone should write a book where the main character falls in love with the reader. And the last line should read, "Please don't close the book. I don't want to die."
Wow.
Oh no.
One of our
You
fans
just
had
put
a
in your
conversation.
bookshelf open. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going in there.
So great. And one of our fans had a conversation back and forth actually with Kim about it. But their first comment was, "I've always loved this idea and would expect it from John Green too." And John Green was, someone else put a comment in the original meme that said they would assume that John Green would write that book.
And John Green wrote that one, The Fault in Our Stars, I think. Is that him?
Don't know who John Green is.
I
Oh,
don't either.
I know. Yeah, look it up. What's not teenage books, but like young adults. I don't know, that I also read. You know, kind of like
Fault
the
in
same
the
vein
Stars?
as
Oh, Fault
Fault-
in Our Stars.
yeah, right. Okay.
Paper Towns. I can't say that word. Turtles
Yes.
all the way down. Yeah, okay.
They're good books.
One-
Well, the ones that I read.
What word can't you say? Is it offensive?
I could probably say it. Anthropocene. The Anthropocene. I don't know how to
That's
say
awesome.
the word. I don't know how to say the word. That's what I'm saying.
Anthropocene.
Anthropocene?
I can probably say it in super slow motion.
I don't know how to say this.
Gross.
I can't pronounce. I have trouble pronouncing many words. I'm like, I don't know how to say that. So then sometimes I just don't. I'll just say
I
it in my
stumble
head.
into it and then I realize like, oh, it's supposed to be like, I don't recognize it by seeing it. But then when I start to say it and then I realize it's like a word that I've heard before, I'm like, oh, it's right? Like, you
Yeah,
realize-
the emphasis needs to be on the right
Yes.
syllable.
Yeah, Freddie has this dinosaur book that I love. I wish a lot of words came with those way that they break it down. I guess, what is it, phonetically?
Yeah.
So helpful.
Fun home phonetically.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
We need
With a
phonetic
little
phone.
dictionary that you can look up. What does this mean? Oh, great.
Yeah, there should have been a
I-
glossary.
I've got lots of add-on ideas.
Yeah, totally. Never books.
You should handwrite a letter to the author and be like, "Listen, this is what we got to do."
Companion dictionary.
And you
Just
can
the-
re-release it.
Yeah. Put it in the back.
Yeah.
The glossary. There you
The
go.
20th anniversary edition with a glossary.
Maybe I will write her a letter. I should be
Yeah.
like,
Probably
"You do
so
it."
offended by this conversation. Like, what are you telling me what to do?
No. I don't think so. Like, we determined already that most people are really nice.
She's
I
really
don't
nice.
know. You're like, sorry, Allison, your vocabulary is far above mine. Like, that's not
Well,
saying
that's the
something
thing.
mean. That's like,
Yeah.
you have an amazing vocabulary. You know how to use all these words. I'm impressed.
We've determined
most-
people are mostly nice and that it's our problem, not the author's problem.
That's right.
Totally.
That's right. She may have made us better by writing this book. Maybe.
If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
Never forget, every child matters.